Hi, everyone. Sean Gilliam here. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, Real Estate on the Front Range. In this episode, we're covering the market update for April. So we'll cover the most recent data. The most recent data we have is from March, and we'll see what's happening along the Front Range. Some clear indicators that we are in a spring market. So we're seeing a lot of activity, even despite the headwinds of affordability that are impacting a lot of people that want to buy or sell. So stay tuned as we get into the data. We'll look at month over month and year over year data, and then I'll also highlight mortgage rates and some other news. So stay tuned. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate on the Front Range, my podcast where I cover all things real estate here on the Front Range of Northern Colorado. Join me to get market updates, tips, and information on relevant topics to make sure you are fully informed before you buy and sell your next home. This is Sean Gilliam, your host, and I look forward to you joining me on your favorite podcast for the latest episodes. All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started taking a look at mortgage interest rates. If you've been paying attention to what rates have been doing, just late last week, they had dropped down to 6.6%, and hoping that that was start of a new trend. Well, then the whole debacle or reaction from the markets with regards to the tariffs caused a significant upswing. As of yesterday, they were at 7%. Now they dropped down to 6.995%. That's for a 30-year fixed rate. So we're seeing a lot of volatility in the markets right now. I think things will calm down once people understand what it's all about and the different countries come together and negotiate. I think we'll see a more stable market. But for right now, mortgage interest rates are right at 6.95%, and we'll see where they go from there. As you can look over here, for an FHA, they're at 6.42%. If you've watched my updates before, this is a good time to be able to use an FHA or a VA loan just because in some aspects of the market, there's not a whole lot of competition. So you have a better chance of getting an FHA offer accepted as opposed to somebody that has a conventional with a lot of money to put down or a cash buyer. That was the thing during the pandemic, that a lot of people with FHA and VA loans were losing out on opportunities just because there were stronger buyers, well, quote unquote, stronger buyers out there. So it's a good opportunity for you right now if you want to get in to a home and use an FHA or a VA loan at a lower interest rate than what a conventional is, because the VA is at 6.45%. And we'll see what happens tomorrow's Friday, or even later today. The rates could change significantly just depending on what the markets do. So keep an eye on that. And then let's take a look at some news headlines. I want to point out just how some news headlines are clickbait and they cause a panic. And I just wanted to point that out to you. Read this headline. It says, Wells Fargo warns worrying housing market indicator is at level not seen since the Great Recession. Your response to that would be, oh no, we're heading down into a recession. We're heading into a market collapse, and we're going to lose our value and all those kinds of things. So, but let's read the second sentence of this. It says, Wells Fargo says home sales have slowed to levels last seen in the aftermath of the Great Recession. However, unlike 2008, the broader economy remains strong, home prices aren't crashing, and unemployment isn't soaring. But the housing market is still suffering because potential buyers can't afford the high home prices along with high mortgage rates. So you only had to read a couple of sentences in to get the reality of the article and what its premise is. So, but when you read that kind of a headline, you think, oh no, things are going wrong. But it's always worth reading, and it's always worth talking to somebody who follows the market like myself that can give you an update as to what's actually happening out there. So I don't think we're heading towards another Great Recession. I think that unlike the issues that presented themselves back in 2008 with all these bad mortgages that were out there and people that just couldn't afford to maintain them, which in turn led to a lot of foreclosures, which in turn led to decreased property values in every neighborhood just because at least one person or more were in foreclosure. That's what caused that market to crash back then. So right now, the economy is fairly stable. We've taken some hits, with things that happened from the pandemic and with the business sector and those kinds of things. So, but we're not looking at an economic collapse. As this article has stated, what the real issue is that especially here in Colorado, affordability is really the strongest headwind, and that's what's hurting people. And even though rates, as many people that have owned homes for decades will tell you, well, 6% is nothing. We had 18% or 13%. Yeah, but that was back when homes were $40,000. Right now, the average sale price of a home along the Front Range here is in the 600s. So it's tough to be able to take on a mortgage when you got an interest rate close to 7%. So that's what's causing the slowdown in the market, and that's what's causing some pockets in our market to do consistent price reductions over time, as we've seen here in the last year. But yet at the same time, here we are in a spring market, and I'm seeing multiple offer scenarios. I helped a buyer compete in a multiple offer situation on a home that was priced above $900,000 just last week. And we lost. It was a cash buyer that came in that waived the appraisal and did some other things to win the deal. And they came in over list price as well. So there are pockets of high demand and multiple offer scenarios like we saw in the pandemic, but that's not the reality in all situations. So it's only in very unique situations. So that is what is going on in a sense in our market, and that's why we are seeing a slowdown in sales levels. It's because of affordability, especially here in Colorado. Now, here's one from Realtor.com. They talk about national market trends, and the headline that I saw that led me to this data was that homes there's less homes on the market than there were before the pandemic, and in a sense, again, trying to create a sense of fear. And it's true though. The amount of listings on the market is lower than it was before the pandemic. If you look at this chart here, right now we're in March of 2025. It's at 892,000. And this is national data, by the way. This is not just Colorado. So, but if we scroll back here to early 2020, February, it was at 928,000. So there is a change. It's about 20%, give or take, depending on which month you look at in comparison. But yeah, we do have a decrease in listings compared to what it was prior to the pandemic. And that's just, I think, in part because a lot of people right now are holding on to mortgages that are sub 3% interest rates, and they don't want to give that up to get into a situation where they have a higher interest rate on a bigger mortgage. So that is what is causing a lot of sellers to sit back and wait and see what is going to happen, or focus on just enjoying their home as it is, or remodeling, those kinds of things, and staying put for the long term until the market tends to calm down or interest rates come down. So that is what is going on in the news. If you have any questions about what is going on in our local market, don't hesitate to get in touch. I'm about to get into our month over month and year over year data. And then also, if you want to get notified when I have my market updates come out and other content, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll be notified as soon as those things hit the market, as it were. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Boulder County with our most recent data, and you can see some evidence that we're into a spring market, and those kinds of things are increased listings, fewer days on market, and those average sales prices are starting to bump up a little bit too compared to last year. But new listings is at 471. That's up 28.3% compared to last year. Our closed sales are fairly the same, 256. We'll see that number go higher, I think. All the contracts that are under contract right now, or rather, will be closing next month. So when we look at April's data and May's data, we'll see an increase there. Days on market until sale, year over year, it's up 16.1%, but month over month, it's actually down. And that's an indication that homes are going quicker because we're in that spring market. Median sales price is about the same. It's up 1.9% at $820,000 compared to last year at this time when it was at $805,000. And then our average sales price for Boulder County is up 11.8% compared to last year at $1,095,945. Last year at this time, it was at $980,074. So percent of list price received. Interestingly enough, we are in the spring market, but because of those affordability issues, we are seeing buyers having the opportunity to negotiate more. So the percent of list price received is at 98.4% compared to last year when it was at 99%. So on average, buyers or sellers are selling their home at 98.4% of their original list price. And that again reflects the fact that there are multiple pockets across the Front Range, even in Boulder County, where as homes stay on the market longer, sellers are doing price reductions or buyers are just coming in at a lower offer and the seller's willing to accept that. Inventory of homes for sale is at 699. That is up 43.2% compared to last year when it was at 488. And our month supply of inventory reflects that at 2.8. And that's up 40% compared to last year when it was at 2.0 month supply of inventory. And again, by way of reminder, a balanced market is about 6 months where buyers and sellers have about the same opportunity for negotiation. Right now, it's still a seller's market, but again, it depends on which property it is in which area. If it's been sitting on the market longer, it's probably going to behave a little bit more like a buyer's market because sellers are more desperate or willing to sell and negotiate. All right. Larimer County, new listings at 609. That's up 22.5% from last year. And then we can see our closed sales is exactly the same compared to last year at 331. Days on market until sale hasn't changed also. It's at 72. 72 days that a home is on the market before it goes under contract. The median sales price is down 3.7% at $592,360. And the average sales price for a home in Larimer County is $699,095. That's down 2.3% compared to last year. The percent of list price received, 99.1%. That's down 0.4% from last year when it was at 99.5%. Not a huge change. By and large, in Larimer County, most homes are selling at or very close to their original list price. Inventory of homes for sale is up 37.7%. So 898 homes on the market in Larimer County compared to 652 last year at this time. And our month supply of inventory is up almost 32% at 2.5 months supply of inventory versus 1.9, which is what it was last year at this time. Weld County, new listings is up 31% compared to last year at 676. Our closed sales is up 1.6%, not a huge margin of change. That's at 439. Our median sales price for Weld County is $519,950. That's up 3.8% compared to last year when it was at $501,000. And our average sales price in Weld County, $567,691. That's up 2.7% from last year at this time when it was at almost $553,000. Now, bear in mind, Weld County tends to be more affordable than the other areas or other counties. It's out in Greeley. There's a lot of rural areas and not as much demand for homes there. But yet, as we've seen since through the pandemic, prior to that, we were looking at average sales prices in the 300s, which is certainly more affordable for people. But now we're looking at in the mid 500s. So that just goes to show what's happened to our market here in recent years. The percent of list price received is 99.4%. That's down 0.4% from last year at this time when it was at 99.8. And the inventory of homes for sale is 1,032. That's up 28.2% from last year when it was at 805. And then our month supply of inventory is 2.5. That's up 19% from last year at this time when it was at 2.1. All right, now we're going to jump over to what our month over month and just showing you these charts. I'll go to the 1 month chart. If we're looking at the average sales price, we can see that for Larimer County in the red here, it's slightly up compared to the prior month. And then for Weld County, it trended down slightly. It's kind of a sideways change. Boulder County saw a little bit more of a change month over month. It went from $1,094,000 for this month. Prior to that, it was $1,140,000. The number of homes for sale, that has not changed drastically. In fact, it's gone down a little bit for Weld County. Larimer County has seen a slight increase month over month, and Boulder County a little bit more of an increase, went from 626 to 719. The percent of list price received has gone up, and that's an indication that we're in a spring market because of that greater pool of buyers, that greater buyer demand. There's less negotiation about price in most transactions, or on average. And so we've seen homes sell closer to their original list price across the board. The number of closed sales has also gone up, and I think that will continue to trend upward. That's typically what happens in the spring. And so we should expect that when we look at April's data and May's data. Days on market until sale. For Weld County, there's the anomaly. That actually went up from 52 to 57. But for Larimer and Boulder counties, it's dropped fairly significantly month over month. And again, that's indicative of a spring market. Homes are selling quicker and they're not sitting on the market as long. So that is the month over month data. I hope this is helpful information for you. If you do have any questions, or if you're thinking about buying or selling, feel free to get in touch. I'd be glad to talk with you and give you an idea of what's in your best interests. And if you're looking to sell, how much time you have. A recent report by Realtor.com showed that the week of April 13th was the best time to sell your home. You'll likely get more money. That's just based on national data. Not necessarily true, as we know. It's based on your specific market, as well as the condition of your home and how we price it. But it's just helpful information that shows that the spring is when you'll get the most activity and likely get more for your money than you would other aspects of the market during the year. So feel free to get in touch. Again, glad to consult with you and offer my help in helping you buy or sell a home. You can reach me here at 970-313-6706, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.